Arsenal's summer window has felt quiet on the surface, but behind the scenes, a significant storyline is quietly unfolding. Jakub Kiwior, the 25-year-old Polish centre-back who has been a dependable deputy at the Emirates, appears to be edging toward a move that could reshape his career. Once a promising presence in Arsenal's back line, Kiwior has found himself slipping down the pecking order as new faces arrive and competition tightens. That shift and his growing hunger for regular minutes is the engine driving this latest transfer drama. Reports suggest his name is no longer just a bench option. It's become a bargaining chip in multi-club talks that now include FC Porto. Porto's interest is not a casual inquiry. According to multiple outlets, the Portuguese club has tabled a loan proposal structured with a conditional or mandatory obligation to buy in 2026. A deal that would provide immediate playing time while committing to a long-term purchase if certain terms are met. That kind of structure is attractive for a club like Porto. It spreads the financial hit and secures a player who has shown he can operate in top European competitions. And it's equally attractive to a player who needs starts, not occasional appearances. Football reporting on this negotiation has noted the loan-then-buy framework specifically, and that talks are progressing. From Kiwior's point of view, the logic is simple and brutally honest. At 25, the window to play regularly and prove yourself as a first-choice centre-back is narrow. At Arsenal, he has been valuable when called upon, but the arrival of new defensive signings this summer and the club's depth make consistent starts uncertain. The move to Porto would offer a platform, domestic title pushes, regular European nights, and the chance to anchor a backline every week. For a player whose next 3 to 5 seasons will define his long-term standing, those minutes matter more than a chance to remain a rotation figure at a big club. Arsenal's calculus is pragmatic. Selling or moving players who want game time keeps the squad balanced and helps manage wages, while also freeing room for other targets. Sources covering the story say Arsenal have been receptive to discussions but are determined to secure terms that match their valuation and squad plans, including financial and sporting considerations. That stance explains why the shape of Porto's initial proposals, loan with an obligation tied to fees and conditions, matters so much to both sides. Club insiders and transfer analysts point out that Arsenal won't simply push a valuable asset out the door unless the numbers and future guarantees align with their strategy. For Porto, this is an opportunistic move with clear upside. Add a defender used to the tempo of elite European football without immediately committing the full transfer sum. Porto's model often blends short-term deals with conditional commitments, allowing them to remain competitive domestically while managing budgets. If they secure Kiwior on the proposed terms, they get a player who is young, experienced in big games, and hungry to prove himself. Attributes that can lift their defence quickly. Multiple reports indicate Porto have been active and are prepared to improve their offer if needed, signalling intent rather than a speculative inquiry. The ripple effects are immediate. Arsenal would lose a dependable squad option, but gain clarity and potential funds to reinvest. Kiwior would trade the uncertainty of rotation for the pressure and exposure of a year as a starter. Porto would bolster the spine of a team that regularly competes for silverware and European places. Fans on both sides will watch every update, weighing whether the move is a smart career step or a sign Arsenal are ready to move on from a player who might still have untapped potential at the highest level. Early indications from reporting and pundit analysis suggest all three parties are aligned enough for talks to continue. But alignment is not agreement, and the finer points of the buy clause and conditions will determine whether this becomes a headline transfer or another near miss. So where do we stand? The narrative now is clear. A player seeking minutes, a buyer structuring risk with a loan-then-buy plan, and a seller protecting valuation and squad coherence. The next steps are contractual technicalities, medical checks, and the inevitable fan scrutiny. If Porto's proposal lands and all parties sign, Kiwior's move could be one of the defining quiet transfers of this window. Not because it shocks the market with astronomical fees, but because it is a tidy, mutually beneficial swap of ambition. A player's hunger for football for a club's tactical needs and a seller's strategic balance. The coming days will tell whether this negotiated handshake becomes a completed transfer, and whether Kiwior's story becomes an Arsenal farewell or a stepping stone to new heights in Portugal.